In the early years of the space age, our aspirations were to go farther, faster, longer.
Until 2 days ago, that sound had never been heard on this Earth. Suddenly, it has become as much a part of 20th century life as the whir of your vacuum cleaner. It's a report from man's farthest frontier.
We were leaving the planet. We were resolved. We were determined not to be left behind. We set out to succeed.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
What we have achieved is an inspiration to the world. There is promise of even greater accomplishments to come. And as we move into space, there is a treasure of benefits we are discovering that improve our day-to-day lives. Now we have the opportunity, if we act wisely, to bring in the harvest, the bounty above. This is the story of some of the ways our growth into space is profiting our lives at home. The fruits of a vital partnership, intended from day one to yield a better life. These are some of those down-to-earth benefits.
Satellite technology makes possible the transmission of hundreds of thousands of telephone calls. It permits companies and corporations to interconnect their business communications. On any given day, broadcasts to 50 million viewers and more help to create a world without boundaries and allow us to share the news, sports, events, a way of life encouraged by television beamed from the free world, witnessed as despotism gives way to freedom. This is just the beginning of the
telecommunications
revolution.
After disaster struck this region of the Pacific Northwest, it was a satellite which provided the only reliable contact between the stricken area and the outside world. All other forms of communication failed when clouds of poisonous gas and ash turned day into night and evacuation efforts were
Satellites
initiated.
now form a vital link in the network to connect universities, classrooms, teachers with students who will have access to the finest educational opportunities, regardless of where they may be located. This is the mission of the Galaxy Classroom Initiative and other programs, where educational material will be beamed directly into the classroom.
Communications is one of the rewards. Knowing precisely where things are at a moment's notice is another.
Mr. Chairman, I know of a family whose members are thankful right now for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's NOAA 10 satellite. This morning, it led rescuers to a downed plane and a father of 4 who was feared lost in rugged terrain. The area was so impenetrable by conventional...
Using space to find the missing or to battle a fire was unheard of just a few years ago. Although these examples of the bounty above are infrequently told, they are an everyday event somewhere in the world.
In the United States, the Forest Service is bringing space technology into a battle to control the worst forest fires of the season, to site fire camps, to pinpoint high-intensity...
Relying on position location is another facet of the bounty. And so is navigation.
Here, our space capabilities are set in motion, in air traffic, to make travel safer and more reliable, in ways that help speed goods and food from our farms to our stores and tables, important to trucking, shipping, mass transit, in cities like Dallas, Denver, Boston.
Well, it's estimated that in less than 10 years' time, Increased congestion will slow the average commute to a crawl of 15 miles per hour.
It's so bad now. That would be unbearable.
Well, sure, it's a tough problem we face, but we can do something about it. In Boston, it's just
Right here.
Oh, yes. Our global positioning, satellite-based automatic vehicle location system is in use to help ease congestion. It helps make mass transit safer and more reliable.
Is that really possible?
It can spot a bus and pinpoint its location within 60 feet.
No. Amazing.
And this system maintains real-time data about detours, emergencies, even arrivals at other transportation sites.
At sea, over land, in the air, we depend more and more on space for navigation. We also rely on our capabilities in space to study and to understand our climate.
Weather is now observed from space. Weather satellites provide crucial information for weather monitoring agencies in the United States. Data are made available for analyzing precipitation, soil moisture, snow and ice cover, atmospheric vapor, surface cloud water content.
Until a few decades ago, a powerful storm such as a tornado or a hurricane left broken lives and untold damage in its wake.
Remember that in the early 1900s, cruel storms devastated the Gulf Coast of the United States, and during some of the worst years, thousands of lives were lost. But after the advent of TYROS 1 in the 1960s, there was advance warning, forecasting, tracking, time to prepare. In 1961, when Hurricane Carla struck, the lives of thousands were saved.
Lives saved by our capability for observing weather from space. And by our ability to predict and to monitor rainfall, heavy storms, drought conditions, so that we can join in the battle against global hunger. Hundreds of millions of people depend on weather applications to have enough to eat, to be entertained, and to play. Because in jeopardy or plenty, our lives are linked to the intricate rhythms of nature, tied to a world of extraordinary complexity. The Earth's resources are part of the complexity, and we turn to our space capabilities to reveal the resources to us.
It's called Enhanced Thematic Mapping, Senators. It's being used to monitor Earth resources from space. It's being utilized in oil and mineral exploration, in geology, agriculture, forestry, cartography, hydrology, assessment of land use, bathymetry, oceanology.
But to whom is this information made available?
Well, our goal is to make it available to everyone. Communication links interconnect computers at NASA, government centers, universities, and laboratories all around the world. The variety of Earth information collected may be vital for farming, for studying global warming, for helping to deal with pollution. Myriad applications of Earth observation data, all there for the asking.
Monitoring our home planet will help us cope with the many stresses to our environment. All our spaceborne capabilities come into focus when there is critical need.
Hours before the incident was reported through official channels, our remote sensors detected the fires at Chernobyl. Because of our existing capabilities in space, we were able to issue appropriate warning of radioactive debris drifting toward Europe and Scandinavia.
Position location, missile launch detection, weather, guidance, navigation, remote sensing. Our capabilities in space play a significant role when diplomacy fails.
It is suddenly a new kind of warfare.
Used 8 Apaches, 4 on each site. The Pavlo 53s led us up to a GPS update point, at which time they peeled off and the Apaches moved on into the target area.
Time is determined to 1,000th of a second, on land, at sea, and in the air. As never before, our space capability is bringing a decisive and swift conclusion to the conflict here on the ground. Reporting from Riyadh, this is Christopher Todd.
In peace or war, our space industries help to maintain America's global stature. And they help to keep our economy strong, despite intense competition around the world.
Right now, over 20 countries purchase American satellites for their internal communications. By the year 2000, many more of the world's nations are expected to join the move to satellite-based phones.
Exports of our aerospace products have grown, launching an all-time high industry trade surplus for 1988, 1989, 1990,
Revenues from American commercial space programs increased by 14% during 1991, and they're projected to reach at least 20% by year's end as sales here.
In contrast to massive layoffs and continued closings, the tremendous new opportunities in space will provide more than 1 million jobs in America and an obvious expansion.
It is essential that our partnership between government, industry, and universities continue to preserve and expand our spacefaring capabilities. To strengthen our technology base, NASA's support, for example, in developing new technologies for use by America's industries. Our space launch capability, finding new ways to lower the cost and improve the reliability of space transportation. Our command and control proficiency. For example, TDRES-2, the Advanced Tracking and Data Relay Satellite. Our capacity to handle and utilize information. The Earth Observation System, for example, will revolutionize our nation's ability to manage data. Our laboratory facilities. Our industrial foundation. Our future jobs. To maintain the bounty, it is essential that industry, government, and universities support future development in a positive policy environment. For the Earth's horizon is extending outward. From here we guide our travel, monitor our weather, avoid disasters, make telephone calls, transact business, create new jobs, bolster the economy, and strive to assure a better standard of living. We will travel far, toward new achievements yet to be won, partners in gathering the harvest, the bounty above.